Kia ora everyone, and welcome back to Civilization 5. My name is JumboPixel, and today we're looking at probably one of the best and most elegant civilizations in the game. It's Wu Zetian's Chinese Empire, and the reason why I love China so much is because of their unique unit that replaces the crossbowman that attacks twice in one turn. Every turn. And the way it synergizes with the rest of the Chinese Empire in Civilization 5 is really beautiful. But before we go any further, I just want to say a really quick thank you to the channel members who are on screen now. You guys do a great deal to support me, and if anyone is interested in joining the channel and becoming a member, just like a Twitch subscription, the link is in the description below. Anyway, let's talk China. So, China's unique ability is the art of war. It allows great generals to contribute twice as much to the combat bonus for land units within 2 tiles. That's up from a 15% combat bonus to a 30% combat bonus. China's great generals are twice as fast to earn and twice as effective, because experienced from land-based combat contributes 50% more towards the generation of great generals. I should say 1.5 times more. So you earn your great generals faster and they are stronger, and because they're stronger, you earn them faster. The loop continues. You're going to end up with a lot of great generals when you're playing as China, and that's not a bad thing, because, of course, their unique unit. This thing is an absolute powerhouse. So as I said in the beginning, it replaces the crossbowman. It's the Chu-ko-nu. Now, it's a very special unit, okay? So as you would expect, it upgrades from the composite bowman and will later upgrade into the Gatling gun, okay? It's placed in the medieval era, unlocked with machinery, and it becomes obsolete once you industrialize. But here's the thing. Okay, first and foremost, it does have a negative change. Its ranged strength is down from 18 to 14. That's a 22% decrease in its range strength from the crossbowman that it replaces. But don't worry, because it can attack twice. Okay? It can attack twice. This also allows the unit to move after attacking, so you have some flexibility here. But the fact that it can attack twice, literally in the same turn, means its effective range strength is 28, because it's 14 times 2. But better yet, you can attack different targets if you wish. So not only does it have an effective range strength of 28, up from 18, but it's actually 2 charges of 14 damage. So you can split it, you can send one at a unit to finish it off, and then one at a city. However you want to divide it up, that's entirely up to you. Otherwise, the unit resembles the crossbowman in every other way. It can't melee attack, it has a range of 2, a sight of 2, and a movement of 2. This thing is really, really incredible, and it synergizes really well with China's Art of War ability, allowing them to generate great generals quicker. The last thing, and it's quite simple, but really effective, it's called the Papermaker. The Papermaker is China's unique building. It's unlocked very early in the game, which is always a good thing, because the earlier you unlock a unique, whether it's a unit or a building, the more you can get out of it, right? The more turns it exists, simply, the more benefit you're going to extract from it throughout the course of the game. Now, the Papermaker replaces the library, unlocked at writing, as I say, standard production costs and purchasing costs, 75 production or 400 gold. However, it's really a neat, special, and really simple little building. So, just like the library, you get +1 science for every 2 citizens in the city. However, the Papermaker has no maintenance cost, down from 1 gold per turn to 0 gold per turn. It also produces 2 gold per turn. So unlike a normal library that just yields +1 science and costs you a gold, this one yields +1 science, again per every 2 citizens, and it yields you 2 gold. Effectively, that's a change of 3, because you go from -1 to +2. So you're getting an extra, from what you would be getting if you'd built normal libraries, an extra 3 gold, and the standard science generation. I mean, this really matters, and honestly, it can add up. Your libraries are free to run, and they start to earn you a little bit of gold. Across your 4 or 5 cities, it's around 10 gold per turn. It might not sound like much, but actually it makes a really big difference, and it's just a nice to have, because if you're playing as China and you've got these incredible unique units that replace the crossbowmen, and you've got great generals coming out of your rear end, you just don't know what to do with them, then it's really nice to not have to focus so much on trying to keep your economy afloat and focus on science. The Papermaker does a great job at bringing those two things in together. It says, here's a building that you need for your science, and it can make you a little bit of gold so you can afford to keep, you can afford the upkeep of your giant army. Okay, so that is China at a glance. Now, let's move on and talk some strategy. Okay, so I think first up we need to talk victory conditions, and it should be apparent by now. The victory condition that you probably want to go for is domination. China is, without a doubt, one of the best civs in the game for a domination victory. I think they're very average at culture, at science, slightly better at diplomacy, just because you're probably going to potentially have a bit more gold, and with your really powerful units, there'll probably be a period in the game where you can take a couple of cities and really capitalize on that. So you're probably going to end up with a relatively wealthy empire, providing it's managed well. So maybe the diplomatic victory is slightly easier to achieve. And as well, you can take out city-states that you don't agree with. You'll see me do that in this video. And because I wanted their wonder, but that's besides the point. Either way, a domination victory is absolutely a realistic achievement here, but as I say, if you get off the ground running, you take out a couple of capitals early, get yourself some strong cities, you could go towards any victory condition, in theory. Now, in terms of social policies, there is really two different strategies here, I think. First up, of course, you could open with the standard either liberty or tradition. I think both are fine. I lean towards liberty with China, because I think that China's fairly straightforward route lends itself well to use liberty to help yourself get going, okay? Open up with liberty, it allows you to expand your borders immediately, offsetting the cultural costs of having more cities throughout the game, which you're probably going to do because you're probably going to be dominating people, right? So we're opening with liberty. We're actually probably wanting to get all of the liberty tree, and that will help us sort of sustain having a few extra cities. From there, I could recommend either moving into commerce or honor. Honor, an interesting alternative to commerce. It does lack infrastructural bonuses, which makes it kind of suck, but opening with it makes it easier for you to kill barbarians and get some culture, so you can focus more on building your military units. Warrior Code stacks really well to get you even faster Great General gains, and then Military Tradition, faster experience, also generates your Great General's points faster, but crucially, it makes it more likely that you'll be able to get Chu-ko-nus to the range promotion before they become an obsolete unit, because unit promotions are really important. And actually, that brings me into the last thing that I'd like to talk about, and that's pitfalls that I really want to see you avoid when playing as China. There are a few, and they're really important for the strategy as a whole. First up, you should really prioritize your great generals, placing them down as citadels if you're not using them for war. Okay, so when you place down the great general, their tile improvement creates a citadel, and you steal all of the tiles immediately adjacent to the citadel. You can use that to steal land from the opponent, to steal land from city-states, or to create a really defensive position, because the citadel tile improvement is a really strong defensive or offensive improvement to build. So make sure that you make use of your great generals and really play into the fact that you can get a lot of them. You can get a lot of citadels. You can get a lot of combat bonuses. Make use of those units, please. Next up, I would say you should try and avoid building early game wonders as much as possible, because you want to rush your unique unit. You want to rush machinery as fast as you can. That generally means you shouldn't be building early wonders. The only one that I could slightly recommend is the Temple of Artemis. And not only does it has a useful food bonus, plus 10%, but it also allows you to train your unique ranged unit, the Chu-ko-nu, faster. So there's one to consider, but otherwise I would really suggest avoiding them until you get your Chu-ko-nus online. One other thing to mention here is that you do need melee units as well, okay? If you're going to be taking cities, you're going to need some melee units, so don't forget to pick up some swordsmen or some pikemen or whatever is an appropriate melee unit for you. You don't want to be rolling in with just your one warrior from the start of the game. Do make sure that your really fantastic ranged units are supported by, I would say, 2 melee units. That concludes my video of China, one of the most fun and interesting civilizations to play in the game. Thank you very, very much for watching, and thanks again to the channel members who graciously support me out of the goodness of their own heart. The good work you do supports the, hopefully, good work I do. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.